I'm Ezra Levant with the Rebel.media. It is now 3:15 in the afternoon here in London, England. We're at the Royal Courts of Justice, a majestic building. The courtroom itself was ornate. The three judges presiding included the Lord Chief Justice of the United Kingdom himself, Ian Burnett. It was a very sober, methodical, proper hearing. I have to say, the way the appeal was conducted gave me encouragement. Tommy Robinson had 4 lawyers in the room. In the United Kingdom, the profession is split between barristers and solicitors. He had 2 of each, and I think that's excellent because this is such an important case. I guess you could call it a bit of a dream team. The barrister, Jeremy Dean, was very methodical. The solicitor, John Carson, tough as nails. I'm hoping they did an effective job. On the other side was not a prosecutor or anyone that was necessarily antagonistic, but rather a delegate from the Attorney General's office. His name was Lewis Mabley. And he was there, called a friend of the court. In America, that would be called an amicus curiae, to provide views on the law, to help coach the court. I think in some respects he was antagonistic to Tommy, but he wasn't viscerally so. I didn't think he went too far. I think if I had to read the tea leaves, I'd say the Lord Chief Justice himself seemed sympathetic to Tommy. He really honed in on the strengths of Tommy's appeal, and he pointed out some of the weaknesses in the counter-arguments by Mr. Mabley. So I found that very encouraging. There were 2 secondary or associate justices. They were less voluble than the Chief Justice and maybe less supportive. But if I had to tell you my guess, it would be that Tommy Robinson will be released. Now, at the end of today's hearing, we're done, by the way. I thought it might proceed into tomorrow, but we're done. The judges said, the Chief Justice himself said, that the 3 judges want to confer. And given how important this case is, not just for Tommy and his supporters, and not just for the incident at hand, but the precedent that this will set. I mean, this will create many precedents. How journalists can treat trials, how contempt of court is handled procedurally, the kind of punishments that can be meted out to a contemner. That's a word I learned today. That's someone in contempt. So there's so much law that will be created. In any given trial, the precedent that's set is not necessarily strong, but when you have the Lord Chief Justice himself with 2 associate judges weighing in on a case as political as this, it will cast a shadow for decades to come of precedent. So it is wise and thoughtful for the Chief Justice to say, give us some time to write this properly. Of course it is. But what troubled me somewhat is that the Justice said, we might need the end of July. Well, that's a long time for Tommy Robinson to have to continue to rot in solitary confinement. I might have thought that the judges would have granted him bail while they take their sweet time in writing the appeal. That did not happen. Now, that said, the judges could return any time. They could come back tomorrow. I don't think they will. But when they say they want the rest of July, that doesn't mean they need to take the rest of July. I think that Tommy will get out of prison. His lawyers asked for everything. They asked for, they criticized the length of the sentence, but they also criticized his convictions, not just the one in Leeds in May, but the one in Canterbury last year, if you recall. That's quite a dramatic reach. But when you throw everything at the wall, something might stick. And I think Tommy just needs one of those things to stick, and he's out. If he appeals the sentence and the judges say, yeah, that's too long, he's out. If he gets the Leeds conviction quashed, he's out because he's already served so much time. If he gets the Canterbury matter quashed, well, then surely the Leeds matter will be quashed too. I think Tommy may win 1 or 2 out of these 3 things and be set free. It was an education for me as a Canadian to see how the British system works. Earlier today, we spoke to Will Chamberlain, an American attorney. He was flabbergasted not only by the procedure, but by the lack of First Amendment freedom of speech. And I have to agree with him. The idea that a political journalist would be imprisoned for 13 months for reporting outside a rape gang trial is shocking, and it should shock Brits. I don't know if it has. I think too many Brits have passively accepted the Orwellian present in which they live. But I would say today was an excellent day. As you can see behind me, there's still lingering crowds of Free Tommy activists. Many of them have been here since 8, 9 in the morning. That's when I first saw them. They're still commiserating with each other, sharing stories. I suppose taking strength from the fact that there are other Tommy supporters out there. If you were to look at the mainstream media, you would think the whole world despises Tommy Robinson. I think that's not true. Just the opinion elites despise him. I've been making a point of taking the black traditional taxi cabs and gently raising the issue of Tommy Robinson with cab drivers. And once they know I'm not sort of hunting them for a politically correct gotcha moment, they open up. And in fact, I have yet to meet a taxi cab driver who is not a fan of Tommy. And I say that, I know that's anecdotal, and maybe I've just encountered the 4 cabbies in town who like him, but no, I think it's a sign between the class divide. The lovies, the toffs, as they say, the fancy pants, as we might say, the snobs, versus the chavs. Folks who say, "Oi, bruv." You know, I've learned so many fun idioms from Tommy, and my accent's terrible, but I think that there are several Britons, and the kind of folks who are represented behind me, they love Tommy. Now, that said, there's a diversity of people here. People of every race and religion and background. You see an RAF vet with a chest full of medals, very impressive. I saw some traditionally dressed Orthodox Jews. I saw a gentleman here from Iran. I saw a Muslim fella, or a progressive Muslim. We see working class people. We see people who have driven in from afar. We see professionals who have jammed this in their day. I should say that towards the end of the day, several UKIP politicians presented, including Gerard Batten, the leader of the party himself, as well as a fellow member of the European Parliament, whose card I don't have on me, and she's great. There we go, Janice Atkinson. She's been a real troublemaker lately, so my kind of gal. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm so glad I'm out here. Let me close with a thank you to you, our Rebel viewers. You really helped make this possible. Tommy Robinson was not appealing. He was not going to appeal this case, but you provided the dough. You crowdfunded the dough at SaveTommy.com. And as you know, 100% of any surplus there will go to Tommy's family. And you even crowdfunded my plane ticket and hotel fare to come here from Canada, and I'm really glad I did. You helped out at TommyTrial.com, so thank you for chipping in twice. So, and by the way, I met a lot of people here today who had chipped in also from the UK. So this is a real grassroots rebellion, even the journalism we're doing here. Well, I've gone on quite too long, but I'm just giving you the thoughts of the day. I would say I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. I think the legal team did a good job. I think it was nice to see a broad variety of support for Tommy. Tommy himself looked sharp. He looked alert. He looked upbeat. When he recognized someone on the video phone that he knew, you could see his heart warm, and he smiled and waved. It was actually quite touching. There were some family members of Tommy here today. Obviously, they keep a very low profile for obvious reasons, but I think they were touched as well. And they expressed through me to you, our viewers, their gratitude for your help. It's not my help. I mean, I chipped in a little bit, I suppose, but a minuscule amount compared to what our viewers have done. So really, this is your success. And when Tommy is freed, that will be your success as well. On behalf of all of us at the Rebel.media, both in Toronto, here in London, and around the world, thanks for fighting for freedom, and please keep in touch. I'm here in London at Tommy's Court of Appeal hearing. For all of my updates, go to TommyTrial.com.